Yes, good day, viewers. This is 300 Plus Academy, where all we do is exams tutoring, ensuring that you ace your next exams. Are still on mathematics, but this time around, we'll be looking at ratio as it relates to UTME. When we talk about ratio simply means comparing two or more quantities of the same type. Imagine we have A and B, and this is 15 gram and this is 35 gram. Comparing this and this, 5 can go in here. This is going to mean 3. This is going to mean 7. So when we compare the size of A and B here, it's going to be read as 3:7. So basically, when we talk about ratio, we are trying to compare quantities of the same type. With that said, let's quickly get into solving some questions and moving them into UTME questions that relates to ratio. As you can see on your screen, at the first questions here states divide $4,000 in the ratio 2:5 to 5:8. We should divide $4,000 in the ratio 2:5 to 5:8. In this case, you add up all of the ratio. We call that total ratio. Total rate 2 plus 5, 7 plus 5, 12, 18. Total ratio is 20. So I could say, okay, let this be A, B, C, D. So for A, that is 2 out of a total of 20 times $4,000. So this is going to be 400. For person B, this is going to be 5 out of 20 times $400 and times $4,000, and this is going to be 20 here is actually 200. 200 times 5, that's $1,000. For person C, also ratio 5, that is going to be $1,000. For person D, that is going to be 8 out of 20 times 4,000. 20 here, 20 here, 200. 200 times 8, that is $1,600. And that's just about how we share. When you want to share anything in a certain ratio, all you need to do is add up all of the ratios together and then compare that ratio to the total ratio and multiplying with what you are to share. So that ends that question. Looking on your screen, look at another question here. This is trying to look at this has some fractions in it. It says if 5/8 of the children in a school are boys, so it means the boys in this school 5/8. The boys in this school 5/8. What is the ratio of boys to girls? Ratio of boys to girls. That is the question here. So without much stress, if the boys in a school 5 out of 8, we've dealt with fraction before, so due to that, you should know how to navigate. In case you don't know, the link to the lecture videos on fraction will be in the description. So if fraction of boys 5 out of 8, then girls, you should be able to draw that inference. Then girls will be 3 out of 8. So when you look at it, boys to girls, that is going to be 5:3. It doesn't take much stress. That said, moving on to the next question, as you can see on your screen, a man and his wife share a sum of money in the ratio 3:2. Okay, you basically have a man and his wife, they share a certain sum of money in the ratio 3:2. Let the sum of money they shared, let it be X. Okay, if the sum of money is doubled, in what ratio should they divide it? Okay, if the sum of money was doubled now, 2x, how should they share it? how should they share it such that the man still receives the same amount? Okay, coming back to this, at first they were to share x, so what the man will be getting at this point is 3 out of a total of 3 plus 2, 5 is the total ratio times x. So the man at this point is going to be getting 3x over 5, and the woman at this point is 2. The woman at this point is 2 over 5 of x. The woman is getting 2x over 5. That is in the first instance. So now the amount of money has been doubled. So we want to share this in such a way that the man still gets 3x over 5. So in what ratio are they going to share? So if the man gets 3x over 5, then it means the woman in this case is going to be getting 2x, take away 3x over 5. Okay, LCM here is 5. 1 in 5, 5. 5 times 2x, 10x. 5 in 5, 1. 1 times 3x, 3x. 10x minus 3x, that is 7x over 5. So it simply means the woman gets 7x over 5 and the man retains 3x over 5. 5, x. So it means they are going to share it in the ratio 3 to 7 when the sum of money is doubled and the man still gets the same amount. So the question says, in what ratio should they share this? So it is in the ratio 3 to 7. That ends that. Now, looking at the next question, it says, if x ratio 3 equals to 12 ratio x, calculate the positive value of x. How do we go about this? This is more like x compared to 3 equals to 12 compared to x. Cross multiplying, this will mean x squared. This will mean 36. X will be plus or minus square root of 36. X equals to 6. Of course, they want the positive answer, so that answers that. Moving on to the next question on your screen. It says $400 is divided between Anne, Beyonce, and Carol. Anne, Beyonce, and Carol. Anne, Beyonce, and Carol. So that Anne has twice as much as Beyonce and Beyonce has 3 times as much as Carol. If you look at this case, the person who got the least here is Carol. So you assign 1 to the person who got the least. So when you look at this, Beyonce is getting 3 times what Carol is getting. So 3 times this is 3. And then Anne is getting twice as much as Beyonce. So 2 times 3, this is 6. So this here is the ratio in that question. Okay, how much did Beyonce receive? You want to know what Beyonce received. So this is 3 out of a total of 6 plus 3 plus 1, that's 10 of the $400. So this is going to give us $120. The key here is to identify who got the least, assign 1 to the person who got the least, and proceed. Okay, that ends that. Moving on to the next question on your screen, it says a cake weighing 550 grams has 3 ingredients: flour, sugar, and raisins. Flour, sugar, and raisins. Okay, and in this question, it says there is twice as much flour as sugar and 1.5 times as much sugar as raisin. Raisin is the least here, so if raisin is 1, then this is 1.5 times this. 1.5 times 1 will still give you 1.5. 1 over 2. Okay, and then for flour, we were told that the flour, there is twice as much flour as sugar, so 2 times half is going to give us 3. In other words, we are having 3 ratio 1.5 ratio 1, so that we eliminate decimals here. 1.5 times 2 is going to give us 3. If I've multiplied this by 2, I'll multiply others by 2 as well. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 3, 6. So this is my ratio here. And what are we sharing? 550 grams of the cake. How much flour is there? So if I'm talking about the flour here is 6 out of 11 times 550 gram. 11 here, 1, 11 here, 50 times 6, that is 300. That is 300 gram, and that sort of ends that. Okay, let's now move into UTME questions related to a ratio. Talking about past questions related to ratio, 1981 question 3, as you can see on your screen, it says the ratio of the price of a loaf of bread to the price of sugar in 1975 was, that's bread to sugar, was R ratio T. And we were then told that in 1980, okay, 1980 now, 1980, okay, for 1980, the price of the loaf went up by 25%. So we should increase the price of the loaf of bread by 25%. Okay, there is an increase of 25% for the loaf of bread, and then there is an increase of 10% for the sugar. There is an increase of 10% for the sugar. What will now be, the question says their new ratio is what? So we need to quickly work this out. This was, bread was R before, so I am to increase R by 25%. So that's going to be R plus 25% of R, whereas for my sugar is going to be T. That's going to be T plus 10% of T. So in this case, this is going to mean 1.25 R. This is going to mean in this case, this is going to mean R plus 0.25 R, and this will be 1.25 R ratio. T here is going to mean T plus 10 over 100 times T. That's going to give you 0.1 T. So 1 plus 0.1, that will give you 1.1 T. That's what we are going to have here. So this is like the new ratio. Of course, our ratio should be in whole numbers. So what we're going to have here is that if I'm to convert this to a whole number, that's going to mean I have to move 1.25 1 2. So that's 125 R over 100, and this will mean 1.1. okay, 1.1 is what I have here. One, that's if I move it, if I've moved this twice, then I should also move this twice. So 1.1 1 2, so that's 110 T over 100. 100 cancels 100, so I have 125 R ratio 110 T. But it is mathematics, we must always reduce to the lowest term. 5 in 125 R will give us 25 R. 5 in 110 T is going to give us 22 T, and that is the answer, 22 T. If we check the, and that's the answer, if we check the option, you'd see 25 to 22 T is not in the option. So when it is not in the option, what you do is, it doesn't mean what you got is wrong, but you can double your answer. If I say 25 times 2, that will give me 50 R. 22 times 2, that will give me 44 T. Do we have that in the option? 50 R and 44 T is the, so 50 R and 44 T is the correct answer here. Next question is UTME 1982 question 19. As you can see on your screen, it states given PQ equals 1 over 3 into 1 over 2, ratio 1 over 2, and Q ratio R equals 2 over 5 ratio 4 over 7. Find P ratio R. But the key when you have a question like this is look for what is in the first ratio and what is also in the second ratio, so that we can sort of make Q the subject in each case. In this case, P over Q equals P is 1 over 3 and Q is 1 over 2. If we solve this, this will give us 1 over 3 times 2 over 1, and this will mean, of course, 2 over 3. What this means is that P over Q equals 2 over 3. So Q comes here, 3 comes here, 3P equals to 2Q. Trying to make Q the subject, Q will mean 3P over 2. That is for this side. For this, if you say Q ratio R equals 2 over 5 divided by 4 over 7, this will mean 2 over 5 times 7 over 4, 2 here 1, 2 here 2, that is 7 over 10. So Q over R equals 7 over 10. So what this will mean is 10Q equals to 7R, and therefore Q equals to 7R over 10. That is for the second ratio here. The question now, Q is equal to Q. The question wants us to compare P to R. So if we look at this, this is 3P over 2 equals 7R over 10. Of course, this will mean 30P, and this will mean 14R. Since we are looking for P ratio R, 30P, 14R. Since we are looking for P ratio R, that will mean P, let R comes here, 30P over R equals to 14. 30 moves here. R comes here, 30 moves here. So P ratio R looks 7, 2 here 7, 2 here 15, 7 over 15. So P ratio R looks 7 ratio 15. Now looking at the option you have right in front of you, that is option B, 7 ratio 15. The next question is 1983 question 2. You can see the question on your screen. It says a construction company is owned by two partners, X and Y. It is agreed that their profits be divided in the ratio 4 to 5. At the end of the year, Y received 5,000 more than X. So I'll say let S receive A, so that Y will receive A plus 5,000. Okay, because in the question it says Y receive 5,000 more than X. What is the total profit of the company for the year? The total profit of the company for the year. Okay, this is how we look at it. For X, that will mean you receive A, and for you to receive A, that will mean 4 out of a total ratio of 4 plus 5, 9, times the total profit of the company. And for B, for Y, that is going to mean you receive A plus 5,000 equals to 5 over 9 times the profit. So that what this means is 9A divided by 4 equals the profit. And what this means here is 9 into bracket A plus 5,000 equals to 5 times the profit. Okay, so that what that means is that 5 is going to come here. So I'm going to have 9 into bracket A plus 5,000 divided by 5. That is the profit. The profit obviously equals, so you're looking at 9A over 4 equals to 9 into bracket A, 9 into bracket A plus 5,000 divided by 5. Okay, this the same on both sides. 5A comes here, 5A 4 moves here, that's equals to 4 into brackets A plus 5,000. Okay, 5A equals to 4A plus 20,000 if we expand with 4. So 5A minus 4A equals to 20,000. So therefore, 5A minus A equals to 20,000. Okay, so saying A equals to 20,000, that is what X received. That is for X. For Y, that is going to be A plus 5,000, and that is 20,000 plus 5,000, which gives us 25,000. So Y received 25,000, A received 20,000. If we add this together, the total is 45,000. That is the total profit of the company. If you look at the options there, that is option E for the 5,000. You look at the process very well. Let X receive A, let Y receive A plus 5,000. You work this, the profit here and the profit here, they are the same. Since it's the same business, that's the profit the same. So 9A over 4 equals to what you have here. You calculate, to solve for your A, and of course to solve for what Y gets, and that ends that question 1983 question 2. Moving on to the question, as you can see on your screen, the question, that's 1986 question 10. It says a number of pencils were shared out between BC, Shola and Tunde. BC, Shola and Tunde in the ratio 2 to 3 to 5. 2 to 3 to 5. And we were told here that BC got 5. BC got 5 pencils. And we then asked how many pencils was shared out. In other words, what was the total pencils available? Very easy stuff. Since BC, BC here, BC got 5. And how BC got 5 was 2 out of the total of 2 plus 3 plus 5, 10, times the number of pencils shared. So what you have here is 5 times 10 equals to 2 times the pencils shared. So the pencils shared equals to 50 divided by 2, and that is 25. That is 25 pencils. If you look at the options there, that is option B, and that ends 1986 question 10. Moving on, the next question is 1987 question 6. It says, if the length of a square is increased by 20% while its width is decreased by 20% to form a rectangle, what is the ratio of the area of the rectangle to the area of the square? Look at it. If the length of a square is increased by 20% while the width is decreased by, okay, let's have a square. We have a square before. And if the length of a square is increased by 20%, let this be x. Of course, all the sides before for a square are deemed to be the same. So if we increase this by 20%, so to increase x by 20%, that's going to be x plus 20% of x. So that's x plus 0.20x. So that's 1.20x. So that this looks like 1.20x for the length. The length looks 1.20x for now. 1.20x. So we were then told that its width is decreased by 20%. To decrease the width by 20%, to decrease the width by 20% now, that is going to be decrease width by 20%. That's going to be x minus 0.20x. You recall that 20% of x is 0.20. So x minus 0.20x, that's going to give you 0.80 x, because x is the same thing as 1x. So what you have here is 0.80x. So what the question is asking us here is, what is the ratio of the area of the rectangle to the area of the square? The area of the square, x times x, area of square is actually x times x, which is x square. For the x square, for the rectangle, length times breadth, what you're going to have is 1.20x times 0.80x. X times x, x square, 1.20 times 0.80, that is 0.96x square. So that is for the rectangle, this is for the square. So the question says we should calculate the area of the rectangle to the area of the square. Rectangle to square, this is 0.96x square times x ratio x square. X square takes out x square, we have 0.96 ratio 1. Now this is in decimal, we want it in whole number. To get 0.96 to become a whole number, that's you move the point 0.96, that will be 1, 2, that is 96. If you've done that, then that means if you move the point here, it's also going to give you 100. So this is not this is not simplified yet. So what you're going to have is 4 here 25, 4 in 96, that's 24. So the answer here is 24 ratio 25. You look at that question 6, that is option D, and that ends that. That is talking about 1987 question 6. 1988 question 5, it says Taiwo and Kehinde owns a store in the ratio 11:9. Later on, Kehinde, sold 2/3 of his share to Taiwo for 720 naira. So the best approach here is let the value of the store, let the value of the store be x. Let the value of the store be x, so that in this instance, it means Kehinde has 9 out of 20. Total ratio is 20 of x. So that is 9x over 20. And this here is 11x over 20. So that Kehinde at this point, 9x over 20, Taiwo 11x over 20. So it happens that Kehinde is going to sell 2/3 of his own share, 9x over 20, to Taiwo, and that represents 720 naira. So what this means is 3 here 1, 3 here 3, 2 here 1, 2 here 10. That is 3x over 10 equals to 720. This moves here, 3x equals to 720 times 10. So x equals to 720 times 10 over 3. So that is going to give us 2,400. That is the value of the store. X represents value of the store, and that is why the answer is 2,400. That is option B. Moving on to question 6. Moving on to 1988 question 6. As you can see on your screen, a basket contains green, black, and blue ball. Green, black, and blue. Okay. Green, black, and blue balls. A bag contains green, black, and blue balls in the ratio 5:2:1. 5:2:1. In the ratio 5:2:1. If there are 10 blue balls, find the corresponding new ratio. If there are 10 blue balls, find the corresponding new ratio when 10 green and 10 black balls are removed from the bracket. Okay, first there are 10 blue balls. This represents 10. So for this to be 10, you need to understand that what this implies is that for us to have this 10, this must have been 1 out of 1 plus 2 plus 5, 8 times how many balls do we have? That is what gave us 10. So this would have gone here, balls times 1. How many balls do we have? 10 times 8. At this point, we have 80 balls. So out of the 80 balls, blue is 10. So for this, for the black ball at this point, that would have been 2 over 8 times 80, and that would have been 20 balls, 20 black balls. For the green, this would have been 5 over 8 times 80, and this would have given us 50 green balls. Okay, that is what we had initially. Now, moving on with in that question, it says find the corresponding new ratio when 10 green and 10 black balls are removed. Okay, let's remove 10. Minus 10. Minus 10. So this will remain 40. This will remain 10. You can see that. Find the new corresponding new ratio when 10 green and 10 black balls are removed from the basket. So we have 40 here, 10 here, and of course we have 10 balls here. So that's going to be 4 to ratio 1 to ratio 1. 4 to ratio 1 to ratio 1. And that is option D. That is option D. So that ends 1988. Moving on to the next question, we have 1989 question 7. It says if A ratio B equals to 5 ratio 8 and X ratio Y equals to 25 ratio 16, evaluate A ratio X. So evaluate A over X ratio B over Y. A this here should mean A over X divided by B over Y. So this is going to mean A over X times Y over B. So invariably, this can be likened as A over B. This can be A over B times X, Y over X. So that what that means is, what is our A over B? A over B here is 5 over 8 times Y over X, that is 16 over 25. So having this 5 here 1, 5 here is 5. 8 here 1, 8 here is 2. So what we have is 2 over 5. So A over X ratio B over Y is actually 2 ratio 5. If you look at the options there, that is option D. That is option D. The next question is question UTME 2004. UTME 2004 question 4. When you look at it, a farmer planted 5,000 grains of maize. So this is what you planted. 5,000 grains. 5,000 grains of maize and harvested 5,000 cobs. Okay, this is what was harvested. 5,000 cobs. But then that does not rhyme in terms of a unit. In this question, we were told that each cob bears 5,000 grains. So this is 5,000 times 500. One cob actually equals 500 grains. So 5,000 times 500. 5 times 5, you're looking at 25. This is 2.5 million grains. So this gives us 2.5 million grains. So you're looking at 5,000 to 2.5 million. So what they wanted in this question, for question 4, is what is the number of grains sold to the number harvested? 5,000 to this. 5 here 1. 5 in 2,500, that is 500. So what you have here is 1 ratio 500. If you look at the options that you have in there, that is 1 ratio 500. The correct option is option A. Question 4, the correct option is option A, and that ends 2004 question 4. So moving on, the next question is 2006 question for the 3. It goes m ratio n equals 13 ratio 11, and here we're told to find m square minus n square ratio n plus n square. Normally in mathematics, when you have two terms all squared, you talk of what we call difference of two squares. So that what this means here is m minus n, m plus n. That is how you represent difference of two squares. Ratio m plus n all squared. Now what is m minus n? M minus n, that is 13 minus 11. 13 minus 11, and then 13 plus 11. So what you have is 13 minus 11, that's 2. And then this is 24 ratio, okay? M plus n. M plus n actually means 13 plus 11, and that is 24 squared. 24 squared is like 24 times 24. So 24 takes out 24. So we're left with 2 ratio 24. 2 here 1, 2 here 12. So 1 ratio 12. That is our answer. If you look at the options that you have there, that is option B. That is option B. 2, 1 ratio 12. That is option B. 1 ratio 12. Very direct one there. Talking about 2006 question for the 3. Moving on, we have another question. This is 2010. So moving on, we have another question. This is 2010 question 6. The question states, as you can see on your screen, if P and Q equals 2 over 3 ratio into ratio 5 over 6, and the Q ratio R is 3 over 4 into 1 over 2. Find P ratio Q ratio R. Of course, this is just similar to the question we took for 1982 question 19, although with a bit of with a twist to this. So now what do we do in situations like this? Ordinarily, I can see Q here, I can see Q in this particular ratio, so that looks like the connection I need. But then P over Q, what does this mean? This means 2 over 3 divided by 5 over 6. This here is going to give me 2 over 3 times 6 over 5. So 3 here 1, 3 here 2. So what we have here is P over Q equals to 4 over 5. And dealing with this here, Q over R will mean 3 over 4 divided by 1 over 2. So that will mean 3 over 4 times 2 over 1. 2 here 1, 2 here 2. So that will mean 3 over 2. So that Q over R equals to 3 over 2. Now when we look at this, there is a point here where, you know, we can make Q and this Q to be the same. So if I multiply this by 3 and I multiply this by 5, that way I would have been able to make the Q that I have in here and the Q that I have in here to be the same. So if I say 5 times 3, if I multiply this by 3, then I have to multiply this by 3 as well. So that P over Q will mean 12 over 15. And when I come here, I'll have to multiply this by 5. If I have multiplied this by 5, then I have to multiply this by 5 as well. So that Q over R is going to mean 15 over 10. That way, my Q here and my Q here, they are the same. So that I can say P ratio Q ratio R. My P here is 12. My Q here is 15. And my R here is 10. So this is the right answer. If you look at the option there, this is option A. This is option A. This is how you go about questions where you are comparing two ratios, even in fractional form like this. You have to look for how to equate one of the ratio here to one of the terms here to one of the terms here. So that ends 2010 question 13. And last but not the least on ratio is 2013 question 3. 2013 question 3 here states 3 girls share a number of apples in the ratio 5 to 3 to 2, and if the highest share is 40, of course this person is likely to get the highest share, 40. Okay, find the smallest share. This here is the smallest share, and that is this here is the smallest share, and this here is the smallest share, and that is the question. So for us to have 40 apples here, that must have been 5 out of 5 plus 3 plus 2, that's 10. 5 out of 10 of the total apples, that's what must have given us 40. So that 5 times total equals to 10 times 40. So total equals to 400 divided by 5. And that is what? 80 apples. 80 apples. That's the total apples that we have. So this is the smallest here. This smallest here is going to be 2 out of 10 times 80 apples. Here 1, here 8. That is 16 apples. And with that, we've come to the end of ratio. You can see we started the series with percentages and now to ratio. When you look at all of the years, we started with percentages and now ratio. And then we still have proportion. We still have rates. And then we have what we call mixtures or blends. When you look at all this topic, now we've taken percentage, we've looked at past questions, we've taken ratio, we've looked at percentage, we've taken past questions, we've looked at ratio, we've taken past questions. Now we're going to go into proportion, rates, and mixtures, and we'll take past questions. The truth is, when you look at this, it has some commercial arithmetic in it, talking about percentage increase, decrease, percentage discount. When you look at this, you cannot get less than 5 questions from this in your UTME exams, and that's roughly about 10 to 12 marks. So you take it seriously. So with that, we've come to the end of today's lecture. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel because this is where you need to be to ace your next exam. Also turn on the notification bell and share with your peers. They'll be grateful you did them that favor. From myself and the entire team here is bye for now.